Hello, everyone. I'm Angeline.
And I'm Sam.
Welcome to English Digest. We're so glad you could join us today. So I'm actually really excited about our topic. We're going to be talking about food.
Yay!
As usual, we always seem to talk about food, and I'm always equally excited when we talk about food. I mean, so much of our life revolves around food, and rightfully so, right? I mean, we need food to survive. So we eat 3 times a day.
More than 3 times.
Sometimes more than 3 times. We eat when we're happy and we eat when we're sad. I mean, just think about how much of your photo album in your phone is filled with pictures of food, right?
That's very true.
And a lot of people, before they even tuck into a meal or before they eat, the first thing or whatever to eat is actually the camera, right?
Yes,
the phone.
yes. 好的，没有错。我们一天吃3餐哦，甚至呢，像我本人可能一天不止吃3餐。食物这么重要呢，所以今天非常开心，我们就要来写一篇关于食物的论说文。OK， 聊一聊你对食物有什么样的看法咯。
So our topic-based writing today will discuss whether casual food is better or fine dining. So when we talk about casual food, I guess we're just talking about maybe street food or
something you can take away.
Yeah, fast food. And then fine dining would be, the ones that cost like $3,000 per person.
Yeah.
You have to sit down. Sometimes you might even have to dress up to go into those restaurants. Yeah, that would be fine dining.Okay, so let's take a look at our writing prompt.
OK， 马上呢来看一下今天的这个提示了。他说呢，民以食为天。OK， 在日常生活中与人交谈的话题常围绕着食物，彼此分享美食资讯，也经常呢面临用餐地点的选择。仅以高级餐厅和小吃摊为题，探讨两者的优缺点，并说明自己的偏好。文章需分段，文长至少120个单词。
Okay, so the first thing we need to do before we begin any sort of writing exercise is to look at the criteria so you know what you have to do, right? Take note of the number of words or paragraphs or even pages you're expected to use. I remember in university I had to usually write research papers and they had to be 10 pages double spaced. We didn't have word limits. We had it had to be a certain amount of pages.Anyways, going back. So make sure you pay attention to what your essay also needs to focus on, okay? For this writing exercise, our article needs to be separated into more than one paragraph. And it must contain more than 120 words. So you'll probably lose marks if you only write an essay with 100 words.Right.
Yeah, or with only one paragraph.
Yes, with one paragraph, exactly. Okay, so the approach you might want to take with this essay is to introduce the topic and then discuss the first dining option. Maybe you want to talk about casual dining first, okay? So you want to talk about the pros and cons of eating at food stalls. Remember to give equal weight to both the advantages and the disadvantages. So you're objectively comparing and contrasting food stalls and fine dining.
Fine dining. 好，所以呢，刚刚说了，今天就要写一篇论说文了。就要来说说你对高级餐厅还有呢这个路边小吃这2种食物有什么样的看法，我们来比较了。那论说文呢，顾名思义就包含了论和说，什么意思呢？论就表示这个笔者作者对于主题的见解和主张，所以它是属于主观的论断。那说呢，则是表示你要解说和分析属于呢比较客观的说明。所以注意到呢，我们文章里面论和说2个部分都要写到。OK， 你自己的意见跟这个客观的分析比方说像我们的文章里面这个2种食物的优缺点，这个是属于客观的。那你自己呢喜欢哪一种，这个就是你主观的。那呢，常见的论说文的类型有很多种比方说呢，像是剖析某件事情的优缺点，这个在考试里面很常出现，像是比方说整形手术有什么好处，有什么坏处，通讯软体太发达了有什么好处，有什么坏处。那呢，它除了讲这个优缺点之外呢，通常也会要比较这2个事情的优缺点。比方说呢，像我们文章这边呢是2种不同类型的用餐方式，或者是呢像我们刚刚说这个某事物的影响或者是重要性呢，这样子的这个文章主题呢，也是论说文的范畴比方说像是培养兴趣的重要 OK， 所以呢 Angeline 刚刚就提醒了，这篇文章中呢，我们就可以讲一讲2种类型的食物呢各有什么 pros and cons， 就是呢优点和缺点。注意到呢，我们刚刚讲了，因为有论也有说，所以呢在陈述优缺点的时候呢，也就是客观的部分，我们呢不能够太偏颇咯。
Okay, so in the second paragraph, you'll want to talk about the second dining option and then talk about your personal stance on the subject. Okay, so if you prefer fine dining to food stalls, you have to give reasons to back up your argument.
好，所以呢，讲完客观的部分之后呢，主观的部分呢，我们就可以在第二段或者是结论之中来带出来了。在写论说文的时候，尤其是考试中，你最好呢是选边站。我知道呢，这个不管是去餐厅吃饭还是吃路边摊，大家一定都很喜欢。但是呢，如果是在考试中呢，选一个你比较喜欢的，说一说你为什么喜欢，比方说呢，你的经验呢，你的想法等等的 OK。
Yes, okay. So before you begin, it's probably helpful for you to brainstorm a pros and cons list before you start actually drafting out your article. So you'll want to write, maybe you'll have 2 columns, one
Yes.
for food stall and then one for fine dining.
Yes.
And then another 2 lists below those
Yeah,
two
pros
headings,
and
right?
cons.
Exactly.
OK， 所以呢，不管是什么文章啊，写作之前呢，脑力激荡一下，整理出大纲，这样呢，绝对对你的写作会有帮助的。
That's right. Okay, Sam, what do you prefer? Do you prefer casual dining or fine dining?
I would say casual dining. I'm the type of guy that don't mind dining alone in the restaurant. Yeah, I know it's a bit awkward for most of people,
Yes,
but still, it's easier and more comfortable eating casual food when you are dining alone. You can just grab it, enjoy it, and watch Netflix. So, yeah, that's the best plan actually for me for Friday night.
Exactly. Okay, so pretty much you're saying if you have to eat alone, then you would
Yeah.
pick casual food,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so now let's kind of think about how we're going to draft our first paragraph, right? So we should start off by introducing the topic.
Yes.
You could mention how your friends are always debating about which places serve the best food, the food stall that serves stinky tofu in a dark alley, or a fancy restaurant in a hotel where you have to pay 3 times the price for the same portion.
Yes.
Right?
OK， 所以呢，在第一段的最开头呢 ，OK， 不管你是写什么样的文章呢，我们一定要给它一个 intro， 就是呢要来介绍一下这篇文章呢是在讲什么东西了。比方说呢，你在这篇文章呢，我们可以用这个你和你朋友们之间的讨论，比方说呢，你和你朋友们常常在争辩去餐厅吃还是去吃路边摊，这个生活中的例子呢，用一个简单的句子呢带出我们后面要来讨论高级餐厅和路边摊2种食物的比较了。
So after introducing the topic, you'll want to present the good and the bad for the first dining option you'd like to talk about. So let's take a look at writing sample 1 to get an idea. Okay, so the first dining option that they've talked about is dining at food stalls.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. The pros. I guess the food is varied.
Yes.
It's delicious. It's inexpensive. Service is usually quite fast,
Yes.
right?
It has to.
Yeah, that's true. And it's fun to watch vendors cook up your meal, right?
Yes.
And then the cons, well, it looks kind of cheap going to a food stall. But honestly, for me, it's not even a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's no seating like at a night market, right?
Yeah. Most of the time there's no seating.
Exactly.
And,
Can you think of any other pros and cons for dining at food stalls? Like, I know one. Like,
Yes.
I always go to food stalls because I can bring my dog.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's why I go to food stalls. Oh, but you know what? Another bad thing about food stalls is that it rains and you might get wet.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What about you? What other things do you think about, like pros and cons of food stalls?
Okay, there's one thing. Personally, I don't mind, but I know some people, especially foreigners, are concerned about the hygiene issue.
Because it's kind of dirty to eat at food stalls.
It's on the streets, and there's lots of scooters and cars passing by.
Yeah,
and
that's
sometimes
true.
the floor is wet, and
Yeah, and when I first came to Taiwan, I was a little bit skeptical about eating on the streets.
Yeah?
Just because, like, it does seem very unhygienic to be preparing food on the streets.
Yes.
And also, you don't really know where do they wash their hands, where do they wash their dishes. A lot of times they're just washing it kind of like on the floor.
Yeah, they just use water, like rinse it.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they rinse it. Okay. Yeah, I actually, my parents came to visit me. I brought them to this food stall because I'm so used to eating at food stalls. Like,
Yeah.
it just didn't cross my mind. But when I brought them there, because they don't eat at food stalls, so when I brought them there, they were like really shocked. And then my parents, they were just staring at the food. They wouldn't look around at the surroundings, and I was like wondering why. And then my dad was like, "It's better not to look. Like, what you don't know won't hurt you, right? So just don't look at how they're preparing the food, and then you'll just think that the food is delicious." Yeah. So That is true. Some foreigners really do have
Yeah.
issues with eating at food stalls. Yeah. Okay, so in the second paragraph, we're going to list the advantages and disadvantages of the second dining option, in this case, fine dining, right? So let's take a look at writing sample 1 for some ideas. So the pros and cons of dining at fancy restaurants. Well, obviously the atmosphere, right? And the comfort.
Yes.
You can enjoy your meal. Sometimes there's music in the background.
Yeah, there's music
there's
and
lighting.
the decoration
Exactly.
in the restaurant.
And, there's shelter. You won't get wet. You won't feel cold. Yeah. What about the cons? Well, it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I guess the choices can be limited.
Yeah, yes.
I guess if you compare it to maybe if you were to go to a night market, right? Because a night market, you can have everything you want.
Yeah.
And if you go to let's say an Italian restaurant, you probably won't be able to order Taiwanese beef noodles.
No.
So the choices, I guess, can be limited if you go to a fancy restaurant. Yeah. Okay, so after you list your pros and cons for the fancy restaurants, you're going to be talking about your opinion about this topic, okay? So as you state your opinion, you should provide your reasoning for making this choice. You can draw from your own experience. Maybe you prefer to pay a premium to dine in comfort because you've had some bad experiences at food stalls. Maybe you got food poisoning and you're like, I'm never ever going to a night market to eat again. Yeah. Okay, so now let's take a look at our structure and our outline, okay? Now that you have an idea of what you're going to write and your pros and cons written down into a list, it's time to organize them into an outline, right? Because outlines are important in the writing process. They help you organize the paragraphs into an order that makes sense. They ensure each paragraph is fully developed. We also need to make sure we have an introduction and a conclusion, right? So let's take a look at our introduction for the 2 writing samples. Sample 1. Okay, when we're out and want a mouth-watering meal, there are lots of places to grab a bite. And in sample 2, our intro sentence is, my friends and I were recently debating the merits and drawbacks of eating at food stalls and dining at fancy restaurants. So based on these 2 topic sentences, we know this article will be about food and in particular about restaurants.
Yes, OK. 好的，所以呢，在我们2篇的文章开头很不一样啊。注意到我们刚刚有提醒了，在这个不管是什么文章开头，你一定要有一个 intro， 一定要有一个介绍，让大家知道说 OK， 这个我们的这篇文章等一下呢是要讲什么样的内容。那呢，在这2篇文章呢，事实上他们都有写了这个 intro， 写了这个介绍句，有开头句，但是呢，他们2个人切入的点非常的不一样啊。在范例2呢，就用了我们刚刚说过的比较生活的 OK， 我的朋友呢跟我在讨论这2种用餐方式有什么好处跟坏处。那在范例1呢，则是比较广泛的了。他呢就讲说，当我们想到要吃饭的时候呢，其实呢有很多不同的类型的用餐形式可以选择了。OK， 这2个切入方式很不一样，但是呢都一样哦。后面呢你都知道了，他将要带出来的呢是我们要讨论不同的用餐方式，不同的这个食物的比较。
Okay, so now we can use these introductions to guide the rest of the essay, right? Allowing us to add details and turning the answers we brainstormed earlier into full sentences. So let's take a look at the outline for writing sample 1. Dining at food stalls. Okay, so the pros. Like we mentioned earlier, food stalls, food is varied, delicious, inexpensive, and fast.
Yes.
And also, it's fun to watch the vendors cooking up your meal. Okay, and then the cons. Well, food stalls look cheap. And food stalls usually don't have seating.
No.
That's right.
好的，所以呢，在这边我们就看一下呢，我们这边把我们的这个范例1的主题句呢，把它分开来让大家来看一下它的架构是怎么样。那在这边呢，我们就首先呢，第一件事情，刚刚我们的 intro， 我们开头句已经讲完了之后呢，他第一件开始做的事情呢，就是开始破解这个我们刚刚讲的这个food stalls， 也就是我们这个路边摊有哪一些优点跟缺点。在这边呢，首先他就讲了，这个在路边摊呢，你的食物一定是很多选择，很好吃，很便宜，而且很快 ，OK。而且呢，你这个很有趣的就是你可以看这些 vendors， 就是这些卖这个小吃的人呢，及时的看他们来煮你的要吃的这个东西。那另外呢，他也讲到这个缺点的部分了。首先呢，这些小吃摊呢，通常看起来比较廉价，然后再来呢，就是他们通常呢没有座位可以坐，即使有的可能不是很舒服的这个座位 ，OK。所以呢，现在 我们知道说它开头句完呢，它先来讲这个 food stalls， 也就是这些小吃摊的优点跟缺点。那我们呢可以预期到接下来呢应该就要来讲这个 fancy restaurants， 就是这些这个很高级的餐厅有哪一些优点跟缺点咯。
Right, well, fine dining, right?
Yes.
Dining at fancy restaurants. Okay, so the pros. The atmosphere and comfort of fancy restaurants are appealing. And they let you slow down and enjoy a meal with friends or family. That's actually quite true. I mean, if you were to eat at, let's say, a night market, you can't be standing in front of the stall.
You have to rush.
Like, yeah, people behind you are like, move on. Yeah, so it's true. If you want to enjoy a meal with your friends, it's probably better to go to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay, so the cons of fancy restaurants, which we mentioned earlier, is the major disadvantage of fine dining is its higher price. Sometimes we're talking 2, 3, 4, 5 times the price of food stalls, right? Okay, and the choice of food is sometimes limited,
Yes.
which we mentioned earlier. Yes.
Yeah. OK， 所以呢，在这个第二个我们的这个主题句呢，他就在讲说了fancy restaurant 这些高级餐厅呢有什么样的优点跟缺点。他首先呢就讲了这个呢气氛呢一定是非常的舒适，非常的这个吸引人哦。然后再来呢，他讲说呢，这边呢是你可以这个坐下来，好好跟你的家人跟朋友交流，好好的一起吃个饭。你呢可以慢一点，不用这么赶，因为呢你知道，在刚刚 Angeline 就讲说，在这个 food stall， 在这些小吃摊前面，如果呢你要想很久要点餐的话，可能后面的人就要骂你咯，好吧？所以尤其是每次我去买刨冰的时候，要选那个料，我都很紧张。OK， 那有哪一些坏处呢？这个最大的坏处呢，当然就是他这边讲 the major disadvantage。OK， 最大最主要的坏处呢，就是这个 higher price 太贵了。然后还有呢，再来这个在这个高级餐厅里面呢。有的时候呢，它的这个选择是非常 limited 很有限的哦，因为呢，你不能够去这个意大利餐厅跟他说你要吃牛肉面 ，OK， 这个呢是选择是比较少的。
So in the conclusion, the writer gives her stance on the topic. Okay, she says, "I prefer eating at food stalls for their variety and liveliness." We know from that conclusion it's that she prefers to eat at food stalls.
Yes.
Casual food. Okay. So creating an outline ensures you have included everything you need, but it also helps to keep your writing concise or to the point so you don't go off talking about something else, right?
Yep.
What's more, you can see where you need to cut information or find places where you need more information to support your statements.
OK， 所以呢，我们再一次要提醒大家了，这个一定要拟定大纲。为什么要拟定大纲呢？写作之前先拟定大纲呢，它可以帮助呢你在这个写作过程中呢不会歪楼，而且呢，当你把大纲完成之后，其实文章就大致完成了。你呢可以看到说，哪里呢需要更多的细节，哪里呢需要更多的补充。OK， 所以呢前面呢就可以把大纲写好，事实上也可以加速呢帮助你把这个文章给完成了。
So now that you have your introduction, your conclusion, your outline, writing your body paragraph should be fairly straightforward.
Yes.
All you need to do is expand the ideas in your outline, okay? This involves making paragraph not only flow from sentence to sentence within the paragraphs, but also between each paragraph, okay? It's important to use transitions when writing your essay. To list and add points, you can use words like firstly, secondly,In addition, besides, thirdly, and then last but not least.
OK， 这边提醒大家，论述文里面很好用的技巧呢，就是这些叙述跟连接词了。叙述是什么呢？比方说 firstly, secondly，OK， 第一点。第二点，帮你把你的论述条理出来。比方说，这个我们刚刚讲说，高级餐厅有什么优点呢？第一点，我觉得怎样；第二点，我觉得怎样；最后，我觉得怎样。OK， 当你用这些叙述把这些条列出来的时候呢，会让文章看起来呢比较有条理。另外呢，我们刚刚也讲到很多的连接词哦，不管是这个 in addition、furthermore、moreover，OK， 这些呢是这个补充说明的。或者是呢转折语气，你也可以讲说 however 这些 OK， 在论说文里面呢，这些连接词哦，也可以发挥很好的作用，让你的文章呢看起来更有条理、更清楚。
So Sam, where do you often dine? At restaurants, like fine dining restaurants, or food stalls?
Food stalls, I would say, yeah, since they are everywhere.
Yeah, they're
so
very
easy.
Convenient. Yeah, I feel like in Taiwan it's very convenient to eat at a food stall, right? Both restaurants and food stalls can actually serve mouth-watering foods. Okay, so mouth-watering foods are foods that make your mouth water or make you salivate, okay? Sometimes just thinking about food, especially when you're really hungry, like I am right now, can make your mouth water.
Yeah, OK, mouth watering 它是一个复合形容词哦，就是你在形容你的嘴巴呢流水，流出来的水当然是流口水了。所以呢，我们说 mouth watering food 肯定呢就是让你垂涎三尺的食物，很好吃的，想到呢就流口水，我们就可以用 mouth-watering 来形容。
And the phrase to grab a bite, okay? You guys if you guys are into food, you guys want to keep all these phrases in mind, right? The mouth-watering food and the to grab a bite. To grab a bite means to get something to eat. For example, do you want to grab a bite after the show? Or I'm hungry. Let's grab a bite somewhere close. Okay, it's just pretty much saying let's go and get something to eat. Sometimes it actually means more like something quick to eat.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
So you probably won't grab a bite at a fine restaurant.
Yes.
Yeah, like fancy restaurant too. Okay, bite 呢这个字就是咬一口哦，所以呢 grab a bite 就是表示吃饭哦 ，get something to eat， 找一些东西来吃。那注意到刚刚就提醒 grab a bite 通常呢还有很长是表示说这个很快哦，我们赶快找一些东西来吃。所以呢你大概不会去一个很高级的餐厅然后说 grab a bite.
Okay, so to be torn, we saw this earlier, this grammar. To be torn between something and something means to find it very difficult to choose between two possibilities. Like me, I'm torn between a beach vacation where I can just lie there and do nothing, or a shopping vacation.
所以呢 torn between 后面加上 A and B 就表示呢在这个 A、B 之间呢表示在这个 A、B 之间你有两难哦，纠结夹在这两个东西之间难以抉择。所以呢我们可以说 torn between A and B， 比方说 torn between love and duty， 在爱情和职责间做出这个痛苦的抉择。
Oh, torn between love and duty. Nice. Okay. A vendor, which we also saw earlier. A vendor is someone who sells things, especially on the street. Examples of vendors include food vendors, newspaper vendors, ice cream vendors.
OK, vendor 这个字哦，其实它就表示这个贩售卖东西的人。vendor 这个字是指摊贩的意思咯。比方说呢，像在夜市里面或在路上看到，不管是卖毛巾、卖睡衣，还是这个卖吃的这些摊贩呢，我们就可以说 vendor。那注意到这些流动摊贩，我们刚刚前面也用了别的字哦，比方说呢，像是 food stores 就是一个小摊子，或者是呢我们讲 food stands 这些卖食物的小摊贩。
Right, that's right. Okay, so let's also look at the phrase in terms of something. So if you explain or describe something in terms of a particular fact or event, you are specifying which aspect of it you are discussing or from what point of view you are considering it.
OK, 所以呢 in terms of 就表示呢从某方面来说，或是根据什么事情来看。举另外一个例句了 in terms of money 这个就赚钱这件事情而言呢 I was better off in my last job. OK, 我上一份工作赚得更多。OK,
and then but maybe in terms of other things like maybe this job now is better because your boss is nicer.
Yes.
The colleagues are better. Yeah. So if you have a preference for something, you like it more than other things, and you will choose it if you can. So you can say, I prefer sweet foods to salty foods, or I have a preference for sweet foods over salty foods.
好，所以喜欢什么东西胜过什么东西，我们就可以使用 prefer. OK, 它的句型呢是 prefer A to B。Prefer A to B 是比起 B 更爱 A。I prefer red wine to white. OK, 所以比起白葡萄酒，我更喜欢红葡萄酒哦。OK, 我喜欢的是前面的这个 A. OK, 或者是呢，我们可以用另外一个造句的方法是 have a preference， 用一个名词的方法。那注意到呢，这边我们不是用 to， 而是 have a preference for A over B. OK, 跟我们刚刚讲的 prefer A to B 是一样的意思。
Okay, that's right. Okay, so now let's take a look at our writing sample 2, and we're going to point out some writing-related tips and useful words that we got from that sample. Okay, so the first thing is the merits and drawbacks of something that was mentioned in writing sample 2. The merits and drawbacks of something are the advantages and disadvantages of something. For example, we can say each of these dining options has its merits and drawbacks.
Okay, so the merits and drawbacks. Okay, 这个片语呢，其实就是我们刚刚讲的 advantages and disadvantages， 或者我们刚刚说的 pros and cons， 其实它指的就是优点和缺点。
That's right. And if things come at a cost, it means that it's not free, right? There's a price to pay, even though sometimes it doesn't always mean that it costs money.
Yeah.
For example, free healthcare comes at a cost. Well, it comes from taxpayers' pockets,
Yes.
right? We're paying taxes, and that's also going towards healthcare. But it can also come at a cost for other things like budgets get cut for other things like education.
Yes. That's also cost.
Yes, that's also another cost. Yes.
OK, 所以我们说 things come at a cost. OK, 这个东西是有价钱的，这个东西是有价的，就表示它不是免费的。那这边的 cost 呢，其实指的不一定是钱，它也有可能是别的事情啊。这就有点像我们中文说的，表示天下没有白吃的午餐哦。我们就讲说这件事情呢是要付出代价的，我们就会说 things come at a cost. cost.
That's right. Okay, so let's take a quick break before we continue with the rest of our lesson. Unit 6, Topic-Based Writing, May 10th. Fine dining versus casual food. Which one's better? Writing sample 1. When we're out and want a mouth-watering meal, there are lots of places to grab a bite. But there's one question my friends and I are forever asking. Which places have the best food? We're often torn between food stalls and nice restaurants. Food stalls may look cheap, and usually they don't have seating. However, they offer a huge variety of delicious and inexpensive food at a fast pace. It's also fun to watch the vendors cooking up your meal. The fancier dining options certainly have appeal in terms of atmosphere and comfort. They're a nice way to slow down and enjoy a great meal with friends or family. The major disadvantage of fine dining, however, is its price. Meals at restaurants are often several times the price of items being sold at food stalls. You may also be limited in terms of choice. Personally, my preference goes to food stalls. I love finding tasty treats right on the side of the road and being able to mix foods from different vendors. Plus, you can't beat the liveliness of a night market. Writing sample 2. My friends and I were recently debating the merits and drawbacks of eating at food stalls and dining at fancy restaurants. There are good and bad things about each. One advantage of fancy restaurants is the high quality of the dishes served and the variety of meals you can choose from. Another is the elegant atmosphere that fine dining provides. This feeling of luxury comes at a cost, however. Fancy restaurants are expensive, and frequenting them can be hard on your wallet. On the other hand, food stalls are affordable to everyone. Furthermore, without having to worry so much about atmosphere and variety, food stall owners can focus on providing tasty meals. Food stalls are also convenient as you don't need to make reservations. However, taking your food to go is environmentally unfriendly at food stalls that use single-use plastics. They might also lack in cleanliness compared to fancy restaurants. Personally, I prefer food stalls because they offer better value for my money. Plus, as long as I pay attention, I can easily avoid using plastic or eating at a dirty table. Okay, so we've come to the end of our lesson, and I guess you guys can discuss what you guys think. Would you prefer to go to fine dining restaurants or food stalls? For me, because of money, I prefer, well, not really prefer, but I have no other choice but to go to food stalls, right? But I mean, if somebody gave me money to eat at fine dining restaurant, I would definitely go to a fine dining restaurant, only because it's obviously more comfortable to dine there, right? Yeah. So for me, I would pick fine dining.
Yeah. So for me, I would pick casual food.
You still would pick casual food?
It's easier.
It's easier, yeah. You don't have to sit down and have a 2-hour meal,
and
right?
I don't have to wait or, it's just easier. And
That's
it's everywhere.
True.
So.
That is true, yes. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining us today. This is Angeline.
This is Sam.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.